Starting live. You're live.
Okay.
Oh, where's my microphone? Goodness me. Is it on? Yes.
It's on, and it says we're live.
We're live.
Can I hear me?
You didn't get a notification.
I can even
yet.
hear you. I
Can
can
you
hear
hear me?
everybody. We're good. Phones
can hear
away. We are on. I'm really low today because I have my machine.
Make
Can you
Creations
see me
is
if I
live now.
stand up?
Where's your live part? Yeah.
Hi.
You're fine.
I'm
we're
going to
here.
stand up for today.
Oh, I
Well,
think
for a little bit.
Some of these people beat us.
Did they beat us to the live?
Yep. Happy New Year, everybody.
It was 3 weeks ago today since I've been
My
here.
God, it seems like forever.
Okay, you got to turn that off.
Turn
I don't
the
want to listen to me
volume off.
anymore.
Is it? No, you can look at it. Just don't turn the volume off because
No, I can only listen to one of me.
Okay.
The echo is too much. Hi. So excited.
We're here.
We're here. All right. Is anybody
morning,
here?
everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
There's quite a few people here.
Shall we start?
Sure.
Start early at 11:01 instead of
Oh my God, we're gonna
11:02.
outdo ourselves today.
All right, I'll wait till 11:02.
Starting the new year right.
No. Oh, my watch is telling me
Sue
that
Smith, we
So
know
Many
where you were
Creations is live.
yesterday.
Thank you to my watch. And something changed on it. Why is it telling me how many calories I haven't burned today? Now my watch is just being rude. Okay.
No.
We're back. Just like normal. It's been 3 weeks because 2 weeks off is really 3 weeks altogether, which is crazy. It's 2021, if you did not know that or cannot believe that. So I wrote a whole bunch of notes, as I normally do, but I definitely didn't want to forget anything today because I haven't seen you guys in 3 weeks. So let me see what I wrote down so I can tell you what I want to tell you.
She doesn't know.
Can you tell I'm just so excited to be back? I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I've got probably 3 or 4 months planned. Things always come up in the meantime, and we change things up as new stuff happens and new topics come up, but keep sending them to me. You guys have been emailing me, and I keep them all in a folder in my email so I can refer back. Chances are, during this year, there's going to be some repeats because we do have some new people. If you're new here, it's your first time, hi. And I know some of you have been with me since last May, if you can believe it. It was summertime when we started these. So there might be some repeats, there might be some updates. But if there's something you want, please let me know. Either leave it in the comments or email me. And thank you to all of you who complimented my new cover photo. I just want to say, this is just really funny. I was not planning on taking a picture, and as Barb will tell you, I am hard to photograph.
Yeah.
I'm very hard to, I'm like a Yeti. I'm there, but you might not be able to get a picture of me.
She
You
usually has her
can't.
mouth open.
My mouth is always open, but I wasn't talking to anybody because I was
No.
alone. My stuff was set up because I was filming an intro video for something I'm doing with AQS, which I will tell you guys about when I have some more details on it. And I looked and I was like, oh, it looks too bad. Let me try to take some pictures, which, if you're a Friends person, you'll get this reference. I have a Chandler Bing problem where I'm like, I look good and the camera comes on and I just go, ugh. So I was really excited. And I forget that when you follow a page and they update something that you get a notification, and I haven't changed that picture in like a year. So thank you. You're all very sweet. You made me feel very, very good. So let's see. Our group, as of 2 minutes ago, because we just got a brand new member, is 649, and I think that's a good number. I'm happy. We're slowly growing. YouTube, we're up to 921 followers, which is awesome. If you are watching this on YouTube on Monday, make sure to follow to get notifications, and it's good for me too because it shows YouTube that I'm a real person and that they should, be nice. Maybe I'll get a sponsor. Who knows? So like, follow, and share, and that's the best way to get your notifications. If you're not liking and following a page, you don't always get the notifications. But we are here, and we're planning on being here every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Unless something happens and we can't get here, which I would just say snow is the only thing to worry about.
The only thing.
But I'll just do it in my living room again because the dogs didn't mind. And then I upload everything on YouTube on Mondays. So just in case you're on YouTube and you're wondering when there will be another video, YouTube Mondays, Friday for Facebook. That's it. I'm just going through all this stuff because I don't know who's watching. Let's see.
Everybody.
Everybody. Well, since it's January, that means the holidays are over. I hope you had a good holiday season. Did anyone get anything big, like a new machine, anything? I always think that's really fun when you get a brand new sewing machine. Did you guys get any sewing related stuff?
No.
No. My family doesn't buy me sewing stuff.
I did.
You did?
I
What'd you
did.
get?
I got a new mini iron to use on my long arm.
Awesome. Barb got a mini iron. Marlene and I did not get sewing stuff, but that's okay. Did any of you make gifts? Did you give gifts? Did you guys make stuff?
I did. I made an iPad cover.
That's right. iPad cover. What'd you make,
I made
Mark?
a couple of the little things for the hand sanitizer.
I need to make a new one of those because I just got AirPods. I made my mom a bag and a wallet, and the reason I love giving my mom stuff, she doesn't even care if we're done opening gifts. She will just start taking her stuff out of her old purse and put it in her new purse while we're in the middle of opening gifts because she loves it. There's nothing better than that kind of like excitement when someone's like, you made me something. And I mean, she also reminds me that I need to make her things, but so anyway, so that's all of our catching up. Let's see what's new. A couple new things. I probably forgot to, actually I know I forgot to announce this, but I know a lot of you have noticed it. We are now selling zipper tape without pulls. So you have the options to do a yard or 3 yards. You can do the 2 different style pulls, or you can order it without pulls. And the reason is I've gotten a few requests for it, but also I know that the 1 yard with 4 pulls, the reason we do it that way is because that was kind of the standard that was set before I started selling them. Sometimes you don't need all 4 of those, and I know some of you are getting a pile of them, and now you have all these pulls, and you just need some zipper tape. So you can order it by itself, or by yourself, it's up to you. But you can also mix and match colors, which you've seen me do in some of the kits. I'll put like a rainbow pull on a silver zipper. So if you want to mix and match, now you have some more options. And I don't know when, I'm hoping soon, really soon, we have 2 new zipper colors coming. And they don't even know.
She wouldn't dare tell us.
They both just fired. They fired themselves. How much on a scale of 1 to 10 do you love zippers?
0.
minus 10.
Everybody saw the picture of Marlene in the sea of zippers on the floor one
Yeah,
day.
that's pretty much our entire office because
like there's yards
we
and
keep
yards
running
and
out of room.
yards and yards
But
of
my
zippers.
mom is retired now, so we can make her bag all of them. Well, it'll be more over it. It'll be better.
But
It'll
then
be
where
good.
do we
Yeah,
put them?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
In the parking lot.
My employees love me.
We do.
Yes.
It's okay though. It's good. I'm not even going to tell you what the colors are, but they're good. We needed them, so it's a good thing. I promise. And you might they're making
Are they
really
going to be 2 colors, but in every color?
No.
Every color teeth?
no
Okay.
One color tooth?
one color
One
one
color
tooth. No, it's somewhere between 1 and all.
Oh boy.
What color are the teeth?
I'm not telling you. I don't remember. Okay, I don't remember.
She's lying.
No, I really don't. You think I remember anything?
Oh, your mother just said nope, she's not doing it.
Thanks, Mom. I love the support. Give me my purse back. We also ran out without realizing of the rectangle brass pulls. Those are on order too. So if you need those, they're coming. And like I said before, like if we have something on the website that says it's out of stock and you desperately need it, send me an email. I'll see if I actually have it because we try to not run out after orders are placed. We try to take things off the website when they're low. So if you're desperate for something, just send me an email. Or send Barb an email. Or call her at home. What's your home number? We do have new canvas coming that should be here at the end of the month. It's gorgeous. Wait until you see it. I love it. I'm very excited. You know, same feel, same kind of prints, but they did some new colors. They're absolutely amazing. And we have some new stuff on the website as of this morning. We have 2 new colors of Essex. This is the Aqua, which is very, very light, and it goes really nicely with one of our other canvases. And this is Peacock, which is a little bit darker than the Malibu. Similar. There's a long story as to why we have these colors, but I will not bore you with those. I'll just throw my papers. Those go nicely with these, which I think you guys saw a couple weeks ago. The new Amalfi Herb Garden. And look how pretty this is. Like, isn't that perfect?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and Barb, as we all know, loves aqua, so she's happy. She said, "Oh, look at that!" And I said, "It's aqua. It's your color." Yes.
Your mother wants the nail stuff back.
Fine, Mom. My mom plays, she cuts deep, let me tell you.
Your nails are.
Yeah, they look great.
I did my own nails because my mom, who's wonderful and amazing and I love so much, and she's watching right now, bought me my own salon. Gel light thing. You know what I'm talking about. You got it. Marlene has it. Anyway, we don't care about my nails. Look at this. To all of my rainbow lovers.
Ooh.
Isn't this awesome? Do you remember from a few years ago, Allison Glass had a gorgeous panel that was basically this print, but in a circle, and then it had a gray background. It was awesome. It was perfect for fussy cutting, except when you fussy cut, you lose some fabric. So I used it for a lot, and I had a lot of fabric with big holes in it. She must know that everybody is obsessed with it, and she made this into an entire panel. Well, not a whole cloth, it's called. But look at all those colors. And it doesn't matter where you cut it because you'll get tons and tons and tons of colors. That is Art Theory, I think it's called. Yes, Art Theory whole cloth. That's up on the website. And the ladies and I were looking at something else, and we're going to ask for your opinion and see what you think about it too. I got a piece of this. This is the Essex canvas. It's not the linen. So we sell Essex linen. This is the canvas. They offer this in about 5 different colors, all neutrals. This is one of the lightest ones. There's some gray, some black, blue, and another like a tan color. So what we were thinking is we have all these great canvases that you guys love, but they're pretty bold. There's a lot of florals. We looked at some of the ones the other day. You know, Barb likes this one. I like that one. You know, and sometimes it's hard to mix those with other fabrics because they're bold. But we like the canvas on the bags. So we were thinking that we might get some of these solids to, you know, kind of tone your bag down. Maybe you want something that's not so, you know, bold, not so flowery, because that's what all the canvases are, flowers and butterflies. There's really nothing else nothing I've seen. And it would also give you a nice opportunity to put this on a bag with one of the pattern corks. So like some of the new bags that I showed you the last time we were here, like the Liana has cork on the bottom and cork handles, you could have a nice neutral top and a print. So we were thinking about getting some of those in. They like them. So just wanted to see, I like your opinion, you know?
Yes.
And I think we're gonna do that. So we will order some of those. They only come in 5 colors, so we'll probably get, you know, 2 or 3, and we'll see how it goes. And that's that. So
each one of us get to pick one? Is that what it is?
We could do
There's
that.
3 of us.
There you go. And also, in case you did not know, because it was requested, all fabric, all of it, cotton and canvas, is all sold half yards now. So you do not have to buy a yard of canvas. You can buy a half yard. Don't ask me why I do things the way that I do. It's just the way I am. It stems from shows.
Clarify, you can't buy it now.
We cannot buy it now.
So
you
they
can't
said,
buy it
"Can
now.
I
I
buy
have to
it
order
now?"
it and get it in.
We do it first.
I have to get it here and then you can buy it. Hopefully it's in stock. Things from 2020 that have rolled over is shipping delays. Unfortunately, it's the way that it is. If it's in stock, we'll have it in a few weeks. If it's not in stock, I don't know when we'll get it, but we always have stuff on order. It's a surprise to us when things show up. That is probably not going to change anytime soon just because things haven't changed. The year changed, but the circumstances did not. Thank you,
They're saying
Marlene.
solids are good for embroidery too.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's what we're going to talk about
embroidery.
today.
Speaking of embroidery.
Speaking of, and we're going to get to embroidery in just a minute here. So I just wanted to let you guys know, I have been hinting at this, I've been talking about it, and I just want to let you know where we're at for classes. Classes are coming. I was hoping to have the schedule for you for this video. I don't have it finalized yet because a couple of things came up this week that I didn't expect. Good things. More work for me, but I'm trying to get that kind of finalized. Earlier this week, Barb and Marlene and a couple of our other friends, we did a little Zoom meeting and worked out some of my technology stuff. We got everybody comfortable, and Marlene, you feel pretty good, right, about Zoom?
Yeah,
Marlene was new.
It
Was never. Marlene was brand new to Zoom. And would you say you're a tech kind of a person?
No,
okay.
not at all.
Not at all. So,
And she swore
and
she would never do it.
and she said she would never do it, but she did it for me, and she did it,
And it was fun.
and it was fun, and it was easy. So if you're sitting here going, "Oh, I'd love to take a class, but I don't know technology, I don't know how to use Zoom,"
Simple.
it's easy. All you have to do is download the app, sign in. And I would suggest that you make your username your actual name, because then I know who's logging in for the class, and I can, you know, kind of take attendance, see who's there. But I will go over this with you guys. I'm planning on doing it next week when I have the schedule together. I am planning on doing weekend and weekdays. So if I offer a bag, I'm going to offer it on 2 different days. That way our retired folks who can take it during the week have that option, and the people that work full-time still have a weekend option. And thank you to Janae, who reminded me, because I do forget these things. I have never taught in this manner. Don't forget that the people in California probably don't want to start a class at 8 a.m. because that would be 5 a.m. your time. So classes will probably not start before 11 o'clock our time, which would be 8 for you. Depends on how long it is. If I can push it till noon, I'll do that. But it was a good reminder because I'm used to just being in one location and going with that time zone. I've taught in California, but I was there. So this is just, you know, it's all new to all of us. So we're gonna get that finalized. I'm going to make a completely separate page on the website. So you won't have to go searching for it. It will be, you know, virtual classes. Please, if you are interested in signing up, read what I put at the top of the page. The page is not up yet. It will be in the next week or so. It'll be up before next week's video, sometime in the next few days. Read the information on there. If you have questions before you sign up, please let me know. That way we're on the same page. It's going to be as close to an in-person class as I can make it, but you're gonna have to do some homework ahead of time. And that's also why I am not gonna start until February, because you are gonna have to do cutting and prepping and get yourself ready to go. That way we can all just, you know, work on our project. So there's gonna be some work for you to do ahead of time. And I'm gonna talk more about like the policies and procedures of classes next week, and then I can share with you what classes we're gonna do. So.
You got a couple of people in California say, I'm good for 5 a.m. Okay.
You know what? I understand, because I wake up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I just don't know if I would be prepared to do one.
Me at 5 in the morning the other day.
Do. Because I just assume that people are like me and have their ringer off. I forget. There's people like my husband who never, well, because he gets road calls. So he never turns his ringer off. And when I wake up at 4:30, I just start answering emails. So a lot of times if you send me an email and it's 8 o'clock at night, I'm sleeping, and then I will answer you at 4:30 in the morning.
Tell me she's not coming to work today.
Right?
Sorry. It was snowing.
Snow day.
It was snowing, and I really was not ready for the holidays to be over. I needed one more day. So, one more thing. One more thing, and then we're going to talk about embroidery.
Somebody wants to know if there's going to be kits for the classes.
Yes. Did Linda ask that?
No.
Okay,
Cheryl,
because Linda.
Tessanari?
I'm not even good. I can't do last names. Yes.
Maybe
We are going to do kits. So
Linda.
I think it was Linda or somebody had said, will you do kits for your classes? Absolutely. And yes, we will have them ready to go, so you have time for us to get it to you, so that you can get stuff. And what I'm thinking, and again, give me your opinions and your opinions. Not everybody likes the same fabrics. I get that. So maybe I have a couple of fabric options. Maybe we do a base option too. Here is your hardware. Here's your zippers. Here's your, you know, interfacing, the basic stuff. And then you can pick your own fabrics, you know, just to kind of get you started, so you know you have the base goods. Just a thought. We do that with the wallet kits.
Yeah.
So then if you want to make your first wallet, since it's a scrap-friendly project, you can pick your own fabric, but we'll send you interfacing, fleece, frame, all that kind of stuff.
And all the kits do include the stabilizer and the hardware.
Yes. Yep. And the kits, as always, would include a paper pattern. So you would get that paper pattern sent with your kit. Is that it for that? I know you guys are excited about classes.
They like the base option for kits too.
Cool. Now that we worked it out, and I actually got to play with some newbies, because really out of our group, Barb is the only one who had done a class on Zoom, and most of the other ladies had used it a little bit, not used it at all, never taken a class. It was nice to kind of get myself into that mode. I haven't taught since March. So, you know, I'm excited to teach, but this is a different platform. So I'm excited. Bear with me. It's going to be good, I promise. Last thing, and then we're going to talk about embroidery. Today at 3 p.m. Eastern time, so that's 3 p.m. here, that would be 12 o'clock California time, I will be doing a Facebook Live on the Janome Classroom page, also on the same machine that I'm going to show you guys today. So it's today's video is going to be more basics and more inspiration as far as the embroidery is concerned, but later today, it is actually on the Janome page. It's going to be focused solely on this machine, but it doesn't mean you won't learn some tips and some tricks. Probably some things I've told you guys before, maybe some things I haven't told you. But basically I'm going to go through why I like my 15,000 for bag making, and I'm going to show you some of the things it can do, some of the ways that I use it, and some of the features of it. If you're around at 3 o'clock and you want to jump over on the Janome page, I would love the support. It would be nice to show Janome that it was a good thing to ask me to do this. So come on over if you can. It's linked on my on the page that you're on right now, a couple posts back, and just look up Janome sewing machines and you'll see it. And actually there's a picture of me on the page right now. It's a very old picture because I didn't realize I hadn't updated my headshot in a while. But now I have a new picture to send them. So if you want to come on over. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little disclaimer for you, a little bit about what we're going to do. And then I'm actually going to take the camera and move it over here to my other tripod and show you what I'm doing. I'll show you a little bit on the machine, and then I'll show you some of the pieces that I made and some of the bags that I finished. So, can I give you that too? All right, so just a couple of things here. First and foremost, this video today, this one that we're doing, is not sponsored by Janome. And the reason I'm telling you that is because Janome is not monitoring the comments. Oh, you don't have to.
Oh,
You can sit for a second. You can sit for a second.
So good to me. Relax,
So,
Barb.
Janome's not monitoring the comments. And the reason I'm telling you that is because if you have a specific question about who's my dealer, do they have this machine in stock, how much is this machine, I cannot answer that. I am not going to answer any pricing questions. I am not a dealer. I don't have the authority to tell you pricing. That's not where I am. Okay. So, and I did not buy this machine. So I don't even know what it was when I got it 2 years ago. Yes, it is still a current machine. Yes, you can buy it. But I cannot give you that kind of information. So your best bet is to talk to your local dealer, call Janome, call the 1-800 number, talk to somebody there if you have those specific questions.
Question.
Yes.
Is the Janome video going to be available after it's live?
Yes, I'm going to save the Janome video. I'm going to download it, and if I can upload it to Facebook, I will. Sometimes Facebook is weird with the length of the videos. If I can't link it on Facebook, I will definitely put it on YouTube, and I will let you guys know. So if you can't watch it live, I will keep it. I'll save it for you. Thank you for asking me that. So let me see here. I lost my place.
That's interesting.
If you look on Janome.com, you will see this machine on there. It will give you the MSRP, but remember, most of your dealers don't sell it for that price, and they have special deals and financing. So this is not to push this machine. It's not about this machine. It's about embroidery. So I just want to make sure that you guys know this is not like a sales video. I just want to show you some of the things that I've discovered and hopefully encourage one of you. And I've gotten some messages that say, I have a machine and I've never opened it. I've never used it. I haven't touched it in 3 years, that maybe you'll use your embroidery machine. And Barb is one of those. It's out of the box, but she has embroidered on it. So this is going to be as generic as I can make it, and we'll get there. So I told you that. Hold on. Okay. All embroidery machines are different, so I'm just going to show you some of the features on this one, and this hopefully is a correct assumption. I would say most embroidery machines are going to have some similar features. The buttons might be in different places, but they will do some similar things. So if you have another brand machine, I can't answer questions on that, but maybe this will make you feel a little bit more comfortable using yours. So let's see. And I am also not an expert.
I can let you know because I have a FOF.
Yes. So Barb will look and say, I think I've seen that.
Maybe I used it once or twice.
I am not an expert. I have never claimed to be an expert. I know enough about embroidery to get me by. I know enough to show you some things. I am not an expert by any means. Many of you watching, and I can think of a few of you off the top of my head, probably know way more about embroidery than I do, and that's fine. This is not that kind of video. So don't think like, I wouldn't have done that, because I just don't know any better. I've been playing this machine for 2 years, and I will tell you, just like with anything else, the longer you leave it alone and forget about it, the more you forget. So jump on it, play with it every so often, try it out. I did get some training on this when I went to Janome Academy, but that was 2 years ago. And I will tell you, because I know some of you have a machine and you are scared of it. I get it. I understand completely. I know what's going on.
I think she's looking at me.
I'm not. I played with this machine in Janome Academy. I was like, this is easy. I can embroider. I went home. I didn't get the machine for a few months after that. And when it came in, I didn't remember what I was doing. I had no idea because I had used it one time. And it defeated me the first day. I went to bed angry because I couldn't get something to work. And then I came out and I sat down and I was like, you're not going to be defeated by an embroidery machine. Figure it out. You're smart. And once I started playing with it, I figured it out. So a few things for those of you that might be considering getting one or who haven't really played with it that much. They are noisy. It's the way that it goes because they're moving at such a rapid speed. I know some people like when everything's nice and quiet. Yeah, it's as quiet as an embroidery machine can be, but they are generally noisy because of how fast they're moving. They create a ton of lint. It does not matter what kind of thread you're using, even our beloved Aurifil that we all love, it creates a ton of lint because it's moving so fast. Clean your bobbin and clean your needle area, clean all of it more than you think you should. Actually, go after this video and clean it out because I bet you haven't cleaned it recently because I find some nice pieces of felt in here when I'm done. So just be aware of that. That's that. Make sure that you have a steady surface. A lot of us sew on folding tables. Make sure that you are not on a wobbly table. This thing bounces because of the speed. Make sure that it's somewhere sturdy. That's very important. At home, and actually I will not embroider too much on this table because we all know how this table's not the best. I embroidered earlier, but it was slow. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you have a long folding table and you put this in the middle, it's gonna bounce a lot. Put it towards the legs. So it's just one of those things that you might not think about. Clear everything behind the machine. You want to make sure that you don't have anything that's going to disrupt what you're doing or possibly break it. When the arm is out, it's going to extend back, it's going to move side to side. You don't want to knock things off your table and you don't want to damage the machine. And I sew at home. I have 2 4-foot tables back to back with both of my machines. I always have clutter behind the machine. I move everything because you don't want to damage it. If you damage the embroidery unit, you're probably going to be really bummed when you find out how much it is to fix it or buy a new one. I'm just saying. And you're going to want to test out some different threads and stabilizers. I'm going to show you what I like. I'm going to tell you a little bit that I learned borrowing some thread from Barb. And, you know, just kind of figure out what works for you. If you have friends that embroider, ask them if you can have or buy a piece of their stabilizers and try out and see which ones you like. Stabilizer is expensive. Stabilizer is to embroidery what interfacing is to bags. So it makes a difference, but you are going to rip it out and throw it away for the most part when you're done. So I know it's hard to spend money on stuff you throw out, but just, you know, try some different ones out. There's different ones for every project that you're going to use. Let's see here. You guys know that I don't like shiny threads. I've told you that before. I use cotton, and all of the samples I'm going to show you are cotton threads. I like the matte finish. I don't like the shiny polyester. A lot of your dealers are going to recommend a polyester thread because it's strong. I'm telling you that I can sew with Aurifil 50 weight and 40 weight on this machine and I don't have issues. I'm just telling you that. Your machines do come with some built-in designs, but if you are looking for others, you can get them on Urban Threads and Embroidery Online. Sometimes they're free, sometimes you have to pay for them. A lot of them you do have to pay for, but in case you're looking. And here's something that I thought of this morning, and I really wanted to make sure that I reminded you all of this. This came to me brand new, and some of you are going to buy a brand new machine, and some of you are hesitant because maybe you haven't done this and you don't know if you want to invest a lot in a machine. So a friend of yours is selling their old one, or Facebook Marketplace has one. Whatever the circumstances, if you're getting a used machine, check one very important thing. Look on the side of your machine and see how you put things into the machine as far as designs. If this machine is so old that it takes a floppy disk, and yes, a lot of the old ones, actually all of them did, you don't want that one. It's going to make your life a lot harder. See if it has a USB port. Just a tip, because, you know, everyone's selling stuff on Facebook right now, and you're like, ooh, an embroidery machine for $200, but I can't do anything with it because it takes a floppy disk. So that's what I wanted to tell you. So now I'll move the camera, and I'm going to show you a couple things, just a little bit on here.
Let me see if I can move it without creating an earthquake here.
Yeah, right up on the top, the little lever. We're coming, guys.
There you go.
Okay. Sorry about that. Close your eyes. There. All right. Barb, I'll let you take a look, see if it looks, oh, here, you, see on the computer, because it always looks different. With our delay, are we there?
I see your hand.
Okay.
It's done. That might work.
Am I there? I can see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we're good?
As long as when you sit down, you don't sit in front of it. We'll
No,
be good.
I'm here. Am I good?
Okay, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a delay.
There's a 10-second delay. So, okay, so now we're all caught up. So I'm just going to show you a couple things on here. Again, I know that unless you have this specific machine, things are going to look different to you. But let's take a look at some of the stuff. Yes,
I've
we'll.
seen it more with the picture.
Actually, I'm not even going to embroider, so don't worry.
Okay.
You can leave it. So on my machine, I do have to switch to embroidery mode, and I'm going to reach back here and open the arm. There we go.
It's different than mine.
And everyone goes on a little bit differently. One of the things that I love about this machine is that the embroidery unit, which you guys probably can't see on camera, it's on the back of the machine. It's a long rectangle that clamps on. So you just kind of like slide it on and it locks in place. I don't have to take this off when I'm embroidering. It can stay on, or when I'm sewing. I don't have to take it off. It stays on, it just closes and it's out of the way, and it doesn't bother anything. I don't take it off because it's kind of awkward at the angle my table is to get my thumb in to like hook it. So I just put it on and I leave it. It does make it heavy. Yes.
So my question is, this is not just an embroidery machine. It's you can do regular
Correct.
sewing on it. Not all of them.
Absolutely.
Mine is
So in case you didn't hear Marlene, this is a regular sewing machine that has an embroidery unit, which is optional. You don't have to buy this machine with the embroidery unit. You can get it later because, like I said, it snaps on. There are embroidery only machines, and those machines tend to be less money because they only do embroidery. If you're new to embroidery and you want to try that, that's a great option. If I was buying an embroidery machine on my own, I may have gone in that direction so that, because I already have machines, you know, so I wouldn't have needed it. This is because of the program and the contract I have with Janome. So I was lucky to have that. Obviously, when I'm embroidering, I can't be sewing, but I have a second sewing machine. So when it's embroidering, I will go and sew on the other side. And that's something else to keep in mind. You want to be very close by this machine. If you leave it unattended for too long, that is when something will happen. It needs to be babysat just a little bit. And I will tell you, I was embroidering some stuff when I was home on Monday. I went downstairs to walk on my treadmill and I left it for about 20 to 25 minutes. And when I came up, the thread had broken and I didn't know it because I wasn't here, and it happens, but it's okay. So I'm just going to go through a couple of these features just real quick. So when I come onto here, I have my grid, which is going to show me the actual hoop and tell me, you know, the space I have and show me what I'm going to embroider. I have the letters here for monograms, and I have all of my designs. So I'm just going to go into the designs. All of your machines are going to have things programmed in. It depends on what you have, what's going to be programmed in. Every company is different, but you don't have to go out and buy a ton of software and download designs. You can actually just look on your machine and play around with some of the things that are offered. So if you have one, don't feel like you have to run out and spend a ton of money. You have to download things. You can just start basic, you know, pick whatever design you want. And on this one, I want something that's going to be a little bit more bold that'll show up.
the glare, I know.
So I just picked this so it would show up on screen, these little sheep with a cloud. When you're picking your design on this machine, up here it shows you what hoop it has suggested for you. If I want to change the hoop, that's totally fine, and you want to let it know that. You don't want it to think it has a different hoop in and have any issues come up. But basically on here, and I'm going to switch for just a second to the grid. When I go to the grid, this is what's telling me how much space I have and where things are lined up. The buttons on the side here are going to help me get everything lined up and get the proper hoop spacing. So if I click on my hoop, this one right now is a hoop that I don't have here, so I'm going to pick this one that I have here, and you see how that changed? It made it a lot smaller. Now I know where this is, and I can move it around. There's also a stylus on the side here, which I always forget about, but I can move that wherever I want. I can center it. I can go here and I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller. All the functions are right on the side here. Yours are probably somewhere, you know, on your screen. Kind of play around with them. The worst thing that's going to happen is you make something awful, just clear it out. You know, play around so you can see what everything does. This right here is a copy feature. So I just copied it and now I have 2. I don't want that one. I'll get rid of it. Trash can. Pretty simple. I'm going to copy it again and move it over here, but I want this one to go the opposite way. So I'm just going to mirror it. And now I want it upside down. So I'll mirror it that way. There's just touch the buttons and kind of play. Oh, I thought I was doing something wrong. It's huge. I know.
Nice floor space, yeah.
The bed on this machine is enormous. It's so big. The button right here, this is going to rotate, and mine has preset at 45-degree angles, or it has this little 1 degree if I just need to scoot it a little tiny bit. And once I'm done, I just say okay. I'm going to go to the next screen. This right here, I'm going to move this little guy down. These hearts, if I do that, it puts them in all 4 corners and it rotates them so you get an evenly spaced out design, which is a pretty cool feature. And then this right here is my colors. Now, obviously, I don't have to embroider this in the colors it shows. I can do whatever I want, but sometimes if I'm trying to plan something, I don't know if I like something in red, maybe I want to use orange. I can change the color so that visually I can see if I like how it looks. So I'm going to go back here and just delete a few of these. I'm going to move this to the center and I'm going to make it bigger just so we can see it a little bit better. So my machine goes 20% bigger and 20% smaller. You do have some things that are going to be factored in because it wants to make sure you're not going to try to embroider something you can't or damage anything. So I'm going to come back here to colors. I want to make my sheep a different color and I just can't figure out what color. So I can click my little color button and I can change them. Actually, hold on. I'm changing the wrong thing. Let's go here.
Somebody was saying that this machine, you can monitor the stitching from an iPad or an iPhone?
Yes, you can. Yep. I don't have mine set up right now because obviously we're using the iPad, but Janome has a few programs. I think there's 2 or 3 apps that I have on my iPad that I can monitor the stitching on this. So if I don't want to sit right here in front of the machine, I can take my iPad, you know, go make dinner, do whatever I'm doing, and I can watch it stitch. I believe that's the AccuStitch. There's also AccuSketch, which is where I can alter things. Those are programs I played with a little bit, but I don't have as much knowledge. The Janome people on their Facebook page have tons of videos because obviously they're way more knowledgeable than I am. But it's a pretty cool app. It's free. So once you have the machine, you download it and then it connects through the internet. There's a little Wi-Fi button right up here in the top and it connects to everything. So that's also how you can download new designs. So now I've decided, okay, I'm good with all these colors, but you know what? I actually don't want to do it in colors. I want to do it all the same color. I have a button here that I can change, and now it's made them all the same color, so it's going to be nonstop. It's just going to keep on embroidering. I'm going to go back for a second, and now let's see here. What else can I show you? There's something else I wanted to show you and I already forgot what it was. Here we go. So it's going to verify my hoop size. It's going to make sure that that's the hoop I'm using. And I don't know where it's going to start. I don't know what color it's going to sew on, and I just want to make sure I'm prepared. So I have a button right up here, and if I press this button, it's going to show me that that's number 1, because some of these colors are similar down here. It's going to show me that that's where I'm stitching. So now I know that that's where I'm going to start so I can grab that color red or whichever color I want that to be. So overall, embroidery machines, especially now with all the technology, they've gotten so much more simplified that it's a lot of clicking. And there's a lot of buttons on here that you forget what they do, you're not sure, just play around with them. If you don't like it, just clear it out and start all over again. As long as you're not embroidering on anything, you're not hurting anything, right? Down here, it tells me my colors, which of course I could change so that it reflects kind of what I want. It's going to tell me my size right here. So this is my hoop, and it names my hoop, tells me to remind me what foot to put on, but it tells me the size, the height, and the width. It does tell me in millimeters, which of course I don't know millimeters, so I always calculate it on my phone. If you just put in 117 millimeters into Google, it'll tell you inches. So I can see if that's a size that I want, if it's gonna work on a bag I'm using or whatever I'm using. It tells me I'm gonna use 7 colors. My tension is on, my scissors are on. That means when it's done, it will automatically cut the thread and stop. 600 stitches per minute. So think about that. That's a lot of stitches per minute. That's how fast this is gonna go. I have it on full speed. If I move it down, it's now going to 400 stitches per minute, which is still a lot. And it added about 10 minutes onto my time. I like to stitch on slow speed. I figure if something is going to go wrong, which it can, I would rather it was going slower than faster. I would, you know, just take it down a notch. If it's a simple design, but this is pretty intense, I just want to make sure that there's no issues. I don't want anything to happen. Thread breaks, it happens.
Question.
Yes.
What format designs does it use? Are they Janome specific at other independent company pattern sources?
They are not. You can use, oh shoot. I have downloaded them. I will answer that question later because I cannot remember and it's on my iPad, and I will tell you what the format is. But any of the online websites that you download from will give you, at least I know Embroidery Online and Urban Threads, they send you the files in your email with like several different file extensions so that you can use them for different things. I will answer that question in the comments later because I don't want to give you the wrong one. And the one that's in my mind right now I know is incorrect, so I'm not going to say it.
Somebody put JEF. Is that?
That might be it, yes. And I just want to double check just to make sure it's correct. Yeah. So now I am ready to embroider. I have my design all ready to go, but I don't have my hoop in. And I did bring a couple of hoops. And you know what I'm going to do? Because I know this is going to be probably hard to see on camera. I'm going to show you these, I'll show you these hoops and why I like them both. But what I want to show you, and I'll give you a little information on hooping your stabilizer and cork. When I'm ready to sew, this is what I really love, because I was never going to buy an embroidery machine that was going to make my life difficult if I knew I wasn't going to use it. All I do is I put my hoop back here, and on the bar in the back, I just have to snap it in place, and it just turns and clicks in place. Very, very simple to do. My foot is all ready to go, and this machine checks my bobbin for me. And you'll hear a little click when it starts sewing. The little arm comes over because it knows how much thread I need for this design, and it will say you don't have enough, or you don't have enough for that color. If it's all one color, it's a little bit fussier. But if it's, you know, if it does a few colors and then it thinks it's low, it will stop, and I will get an error message that says your bobbin is not sufficient, so I can take the hoop off, change the bobbin, and keep on going. And one other thing, if you look down here, and I don't know if your machine has this or not, but this is very, very helpful. There's a little bar right here underneath that says right now 0 of 15,502 stitches. If my thread breaks, if something happens, if the power goes out, something happens, but I know where I was at, I can hit this little calculator here and I can put in what stitch I want to start at. So what I find is if my thread breaks and I look at the machine and it's at, let's say, stitch 3,000, my thread just broke, I change my thread and I go backwards about 10 stitches just to make sure that I start again and I have covered everything. And that's pretty basic for this machine. Again, I don't want to get super detailed because I know that not everyone has this embroidery machine, but trust me, if I can do this, you can do it. I don't know enough about embroidery to like get deep into it, and some of you do. This is pretty basic. So if you are thinking about buying an embroidery machine, trust me, you can do it. I'm gonna switch the camera back and just show you a couple more things, and then I have some samples for you. So Barb, can I hand this off to you? Bear with me, it's gonna get weird for a minute.
Bear with me that I don't drop it.
There we go. All right.
Let's see. I think it goes like that.
And
got it. And you're, oh my God, you're perfect.
Why is that light on?
What light?
That one on the camera. Never mind, I'll just ignore it. I don't know why it just came on the,
Oh, the...
Yeah, don't worry about it. We don't want to undo our live. Don't worry. So,
I don't know. Because
it's
we
a
wanted to
mystery.
spotlight you.
Because we're spotlighting me. So let me show you a couple things. just want to show you, I have 2 hoops here, and I have a couple other products to show you. Okay, so most of your, as long as we're still filming, I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most of your machines are going to come with this style hoop right here. This is real standard. It has the little part right here that twists off, and you pop your center out if you undo it enough.
Yep.
So we put the stabilizer here. This goes in the middle. You push that down, and then you twist this closed. So this is a pretty basic hoop. This machine, I think, comes with 5 hoops of different sizes, and I always go with the biggest one because I like big things. I don't know. I like big designs. So I use that hoop quite a bit. But this is this is probably my favorite one. This is actually a quilting hoop. And this machine has some built-in quilting designs. So if you want to quilt your own quilts, and you can quilt a big one. I've seen people do queen-size quilts on this machine. Not me, but other people.
Not in the hoop, though.
You can. Yeah,
A
you can
queen
do
size
it in the hoop because you're only going to be doing a section at a time. But I would rather pay Barb to do it. That's just me. But what I love about this, if you're using a piece of cork, because I embroider on cork. You guys, you know that. It's what I sell. I don't really embroider on fabric. I might, now that we're getting some new solid canvases in, who knows. But this is a magnetic hoop. So once you put your stabilizer on here, you click these magnets on top of it.
About them.
I
don't have one, but
I love this, and I don't know if other machines can do this, but what's great about it is that if I'm doing something big and I need to move it over and continue my design or add more things, I just undo it with the magnets, move it over, and clamp it again. And I just love that. It's just nice and simple. And what I was saying to you guys before, there's a little knob right here. There's nothing special. I just put this under the machine through the bed. I put it in place and I just click it. So this is beginner friendly. This is Jessica friendly. Many years ago, like I was probably in my 20s still, I wanted to buy an embroidery machine. I thought I don't have one. I need one. And the woman, it was a different brand, went through it with me and said, "Oh, it's so user friendly." I couldn't follow anything she was saying. I was so nervous about this very expensive machine that I was like, I'm gonna say no. I don't want to buy that, because if I bring that home and I can't even figure out the hoop, I'm not gonna do it. And I need something simple. I'm pretty simple. So that is my favorite hoop. I probably use this all the time. These magnets here, I just love that. And when you're embroidering cork, you do not want to hoop your cork. So I use this. I'll show you the package, but this is stabilizer that has paper on the back. And this paper is, it peels off. So what you do is you cut your stabilizer, you put it in your hoop, you get it hooped, and then you take the paper off, and then it's sticky. It's a self-adhesive stabilizer. So instead of using spray-based, which a lot of people suggest if you're doing something like this, or velvet or corduroy or something heavy, that you want to just spray-base it in place. I don't like spray-based. I have dogs, they get stuck to the floor. I just end up making a mess everywhere. It stinks. And yes, I spray it in the house. I know I'm not supposed to do that. But I also don't want that near this very expensive machine. So I like this. And this is the Floriani Perfect Stick. So it's a pressure sensitive tearaway stabilizer. It says, and I've never heard this term before because I didn't read this, it says it's for fabrics that get hoop burn. Have you ever heard of hoop burn? Like velvet, corduroy, or microfiber. Hoop burn. That is our word of the day. So for anything that's thick, like a cork, or that is going to get hoop burn, you want to use this because then you can just stick it right on. This, my husband brought it over because I forgot it at the house this morning, and he goes, "Oh my God, $81.99 for a stabilizer." It's expensive, and I know it kind of stinks because after you're done, you throw it out, but it works really nicely. And this was 20 wide by 10 yards.
Yeah,
10 yards. I'm probably not going to embroider 10 yards anytime soon. So you have to just think of it as just one of those costs that we have to endure.
Nancy
Is somebody
Cass
making fun of
also-
hoop burn?
She says, "Ooh, hoop burn is ugly."
Nancy Casson knows more than I do
Yeah,
about
was gonna say,
embroidery.
she's an embroiderer.
She knows a lot. So I want to show you a few other things. Oh, here we go. some thread, some suggestions for your bobbin, and then I will show you some of the things I made. So Janome makes their own embroidery bobbin thread because the bottom doesn't show. Your backside is not going to show, and you don't want heavy thread in the bobbin, especially when you're moving at such high speed. You want a nice thin thread. This one, if I'm reading it correctly, is a 90 weight, but I am blinded by that light. I can't see anything. Somehow we've turned on the light. We don't know.
The flashlight's on.
The flashlight is, I'm
can't
trying not to look right there, so if you see me
Yes.
looking off in the distance. So Janome makes that. I got some when I got my machine, and I just keep a few bobbins wound. It's just white because it doesn't matter. If your tension is off, it will matter. But your tension, this has automatic tension. It's also a good way to know if your tension is off if you're seeing this thread on the top. But I cheat sometimes, and I use these Wonderful Deco Bobs. And do you guys use stuff like this in your long arms? Like, do you use
yeah,
pre-wound?
Yes.
Definitely. I actually just started to use pre-wound in my regular machine too.
See? And I use these bobbins when I'm doing like quilting, like piecing. I don't make a lot of quilts anymore, but when I'm piecing, because it doesn't matter. And this is a neutral. It has white, black, tan, and gray. If you're buying for Janome, they're the class 15. Wonderful has 2 different styles, so it's a generic bobbin. You can't reuse them. You got to throw them out when they're done because they're not going to wind correctly. But it's an 80 weight polyester. It's on the back. And so then I don't have to worry about winding bobbins, and I don't have to worry about wasting my good thread. I can just use this. So that's what I use in the bobbin. You just want something thin and neutral. That's it. So let's look at what I made. I'm going to show you
So pretty.
I'm going to show you some samples. I'm going to take a sip real quick. And then I'm going to grab a couple of bags that aren't embroidered, and I'll show you where I might add embroidery to those. So this one, I know I've shown you guys this before, but oops, I absolutely love this bag.
So pretty.
This is Harper with the smooth natural cork. This is a design that I purchased. This is a Tula Pink design that I purchased from Embroidery Online. Now, when I did this, these anchors are actually spaced out a little bit further than the instructions call for because I wanted to incorporate this and I didn't want to cover it up. And that's something you might have to do if you get a really cool design. You know, you kind of make some adjustments. I didn't want to make this smaller because it's dense. I did not want it to rip through the cork. And that's something you want to be careful with a product like this. You don't want anything too dense and too small, like some of these little flowers here. They're very small. If I scaled this down, it would have just been too small. Ask me how I know that. So,
How many holes did you put in things
I
first?
put a few holes. So that's that one. I love that bag. I'm so tempted every time I look at it to carry it, but I don't want to get it dirty because it's just so pretty. And I showed you this before, but I also love this one. This is also a Tula Pink design. So I did this on a Prima Diva. On something like this that's a little bit smaller, I planned a little bit more so that I could trim it and that it was going to be correct and upright on the front. And this is all Aurifil 50 weight cotton. I showed you guys this back in December. This is one of my favorite built-in designs. I've used it so many times. It's just so pretty, you know? So just something simple. And then I did this one, and this one I did not plan. I just took a long piece of cork. I knew what size I needed it. I just randomly picked purples and pinks and sewed and just let it do its thing. I cut off some designs. I moved them around. There's a sewing machine. There's scissors. There's a tomato pincushion. You know what I mean. There's a spool of thread. There's more thread. I just did it randomly and I didn't care where it was going to land. I just kind of wanted a bunch of embroidery. And actually, I could have done even more, but I don't know. I just stopped. And this is the Merlot metallic. So it's got little bits of the metallic peeking through, which I love. And now, I don't know what I'm doing with any of these, so don't ask. I'm just playing for now. This is something I found that I did a while ago, and I know what I had planned for this, but I haven't finished it. I did this long design because I wanted to put it in the center of a Kaylee. Would you help me grab some bags? Would you grab me the Kaylee with the lagoon color right there? Yes. So I did this one because I thought this would look really pretty in the center of this bag. So it doesn't have to be all over. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
wild. Just a little embroidery. And I remember when I went to Janome Academy, my friend from Janome, Miriam, she made a statement and it clicked so much in my head of why I also avoided embroidery for so long. She said, I've never been a fan of embroidery because I don't want to embroider balloons and bears and clowns. Because that is what's always been in my head, is that embroidery is things that you put on children's bibs and little onesies and like they're cutesy things. I want adult stuff. I want, you know, like professional looking things, a bag that somebody would be like, wow, you made that and look at how fancy it is. And just this little touch, just that down the center, you know, is enough. And it just adds a little something. And I got to do that. You know, I got to customize it. Let me see. How about that, Everly? This one? Yes. So here's one that I did. And this is just something I made up. I call this stacked embroidery. I embroidered the red in the background. And I picked a color that was as identical to the cork as I could. I didn't want it to stand out. And I found this really cool deer. I don't know, he's lacy, but he's kind of cool. He's Metro. He's very in touch with himself. Well, he's very, very lacy with his horns. But I thought it was kind of cool. I put them antlers. Well, whatever. He doesn't know. So imagine if I did something like this, a little smaller on the flap.
That would be cool on your back.
Just on the flap. You could do something down here too. And if you were making one of these for somebody, you could put a monogram on it. I am not a fan of putting names on things, especially on children's things. It makes me very uncomfortable. But a monogram, you know, you could, or I could just M for Marlene, keep it simple, you know, and she has a little bag, you know, with her initial on it. So you could do something like that on a flap. Let's
I got
see.
the perfect one.
You do?
Karen Gibbs backpack. Your backpack made with her ride-on fabric with the bicycles
And an
embroider bicycle on it.
Perfect. How about what do we think for this one? Maybe a Tabitha? I'm kind of making it up as I go. Actually, here, I can see this one. So, bear with me, guys. So, here's a Tabitha, one of
That'd be a
the
perfect one.
simplest bags that I have. And I did this in multicolored. Now, this was a few designs, and I moved them around, and I kind of got them in order, and I played with a rainbow. And I did this multicolored, variegated, that's what it would be called. Variegated bee. So imagine if I did that on here.
That would be
Just
a perfect bag for
super
something
simple.
Like that. Yeah.
And I'm only talking one side. We don't have to embroider both sides. Or if you want to, go for it. Let's see, what do we think for this one? I don't know about this one. But I went patriotic, which I never do. So I did a little red, white, and blue. And instead of doing half and half, I kind of did it diagonal. And this design right here is the center of this one, but I skipped the circle. And I'll tell you an easy trick that I was able to do. Because the colors are separate, when it stopped and it was ready to do this circle, I just skipped to the next one. So I didn't have to use it. So when I had it in the design mode, it was overlapped and it obviously wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
I got to that circle, I skipped to the next one. So I kind of tricked the embroidery machine to do what I want without having to use my iPad or anything special.
Yeah.
So I could put that maybe on a tote bag, maybe with some, you know, fun. Every year there's a fun patriotic fabric. I could add a little of that. I could put this on a tote. And that reminds me, I have a big zippered bag with this on it and I forgot it. It's somewhere at home. And I did forget to iron this
Same
one.
place as that bowler bag that you
Same place as one of Liliana's I can't find. I did this spool of thread. I did cut off the bottom because I was playing with something. But this I might put on a little zippered pouch, something small. And any of the bags, you find that spot that works. And it doesn't have to be centered. You might want to put something off on the side a little bit. You might want to you could embroider a band around the bottom, you know, where there's two separate fabrics. There's tons of ways that you can incorporate this, and it doesn't have to be so much. And the last thing I have for you, I wanted to show you this because this went a little bit wrong, but I fixed it. Barb loaned me some thread. And what is this thread, Barb?
King Tut.
King Tut. So it's a long arm
Arabian Nights,
thread.
I think.
It is a 40 weight 3-ply.
Right.
Nothing wrong with 40 weight, but for some reason, the machine was not super happy with it when I did a dense design with one of the other ones. I think that Aurifil 40 is a thin 40, and this is a little bit heavier 40 because it's
heavy.
for a long arm. And it was not loving it on the dense design. So I played around a little bit. I did this real simple design, this little sashiko. This is actually a quilting design. A friend of mine used this and quilted her quilt, and it looked really nice when it was done. And I just used this variegated thread, and look at that. One simple design, one thread, but look how cool it is. And in some of the spots it overlapped and it made it really thick, and I really like that. But just wanted to show you this. This is that paper that comes on your stabilizer that you tear off, and then this is sticky. But once I'm done, all I have to do is just rip this off. That's it. And some people, because when I was new to embroidery, I was at a show and somebody said, I can show you a trick to save you money. And I was like, well, do tell.
Yeah.
And they rip off their stabilizer and then kind of piece it together to keep reusing it. Wasn't a bad idea, but I'm too lazy. I'm just going to tell you that.
People do that to
But
batting, too.
if you're using like a little piece of it, I can understand, and you want,
Yeah.
there's a little hole, something like this I was not going to save.
No.
So yes, that has to go in the garbage, the recycle bin. That's the bummer part. Just like when we use interfacing, you don't even see it in the bag, but you need it, and you do need a stabilizer. And that's it. That is,
That looks pretty.
that is my basic embroidery on cork. Because I can't get too deep into this machine and what you can do, because you don't all have the same one. So
Now you got me excited again.
see, I hope that somebody else, you know, Barb, I'm going to send her home with some stabilizer. I'm going to make her do this on cork. I hope that some of you will take out your machine, look at your machine, play around with it. And if you want to try some embroidery, put some of that, you know, fabric that you decided you don't like anymore on there. We all do it. We buy fabric and then it sits for a while and then we're like, why did we buy this? I don't like it. Throw it on your hoop. Get comfortable using the buttons and the hoop and playing around so that you're not just putting a piece of cork on there and then being disappointed. It takes time, it takes practice to get used to all the buttons. So, you know, try it every couple of days. You know, maybe once a week. Try a little something until you're comfortable, and then you can expand into downloading and, you know, different things. And Marlene even said earlier, oh, maybe I want one. So we got somebody maybe interested.
While the long arm is running. If the long arm is running.
The long arm is running, you
Got
got
a
this
computer,
going, you
got
can
this
sew
going,
something,
yay,
you got
yeah.
your own little workshop going. So that is embroidery in a nutshell.
Embroidery 101.
Embroidery 101. Embroidery like 01. We didn't even get to the one yet.
100.
Yes. So that is going to be it for today. If I see any other comments or questions, I will be sure to answer those. If you are around, come see me on the Janome page at 3. I'm going to show you some of the other features on this machine. It will be much more specific because it's a Janome video. And that's it. I think that's all. Any other questions?
Just somebody suggested for placement of designs, here's a hint. Print it out on paper and lay it out on the cork.
There you go.
Good.
Yep. There's so much that you can do. There's so many designs and just so much to play with. And don't be afraid to play with it. And press a button. Nothing bad is going to happen if you just press a button. It erases something, it turns something around, so you go backwards or you start over
Or
again.
you turn it off and
Or you turn it off and turn it back on.
and it'll reset. Then they're done that.
Yeah, we all have. So I think that's going to be it for today.
I think
And
so.
I think that's it. So I will see you guys next Friday at 11 or maybe later at 3. And I will have some class information and maybe some more stuff. Who knows? I think that'll do it.
Okay.
So
Good job.
have a good week.